Alright, guys, so here's what's gonna happen. Last time when we left off on Dark Souls, I had just, on the Lore Souls playthrough, let me just load it up real quick. I had just murdered Kalameet the normal way, and we talked to Goff. So, on this file, you'll see I have all the souls in the goddamn world, and insane stats and everything like that, etc., etc. I'm level 360 now. What I did on this file is I killed Kalameet myself, without Goff's help. And let me just go ahead. And let's show this off. Ready, guys? This is how that looks for anyone that's never seen it. We're gonna go ahead and do that. Olympus Mons22 is now following. Thanks for the follow, dude. Glad to have you here. Hopefully you're enjoying the stream right now. And welcome to the stream. Thanks so much for the follow. I really appreciate the support, dude. So this is what killing Kalameet looks like when you don't have Hawkeye Goff to help you. Also, the colors are all washed out for some fucking reason. I think it's an issue with VLC Media Player. Don't worry about it. Your monitors aren't messed up or anything like that. So what you have to do is you have to get big, fat, heavy armor, the Dragon Slayer Great Bow, a good shield, because Kalameet can still hit you, and a lot of Dragon Slayer Great Arrows, and you need the Hawk Ring so that you can actually reach him. And basically what you do is you sit back here behind this waterfall, you line yourself up like this, you wait for Kalameet to come flying around the corner, and you launch an arrow at him. That one missed, but you know, that happens once in a while. Couple of misses, it happens. And then you sit there and you line up your arrow. And here's all the equipment I have, the level and everything, you know. You line up your arrow shot. You wait for Kalameet to turn the corner. Here he comes. 3, 2, 1. Well, yeah, a little overzealous there. And you launch an arrow into his butt for a whole 49 damage. And then you gotta block his attack. If you don't block his attack, you take way more damage. And for anyone that's never done this before, I have 99 strength and 99 dex for these arrows, so they're as strong as they can be. It took about 18 minutes of doing this to kill him. So, for your benefit, I sped things up for you. Is the bow upgraded? The bow is not upgraded, though. The bow isn't upgraded. I probably should have done that, but whatever. Oh wait, no, actually, yeah, this bow is upgraded. At least +1 or 2. It's not fully upgraded. So, for your benefit, I sped things up to like 20 times speed for a little while, because as you can see, it takes a little bit of time. It takes a lot of bit of time. So, yeah, I removed the sound because otherwise you would have just heard really loudly. So now you get to listen to the wonderfulness that is my voice. So, the reason this takes so long is Kalameet has a fuck ton of health, and, you're kind of playing it very safe by doing it like this. And it takes, I think it was like 60 to 80 arrows. And, the whole reason for doing this is that if you do this and go talk to Hawkeye Goff, he will give you different dialogue. And that's it. That's it. Hawkeye Goff will give you different dialogue for killing Kalameet without his help, and that's the whole reason I sat here for 18 minutes killing this fucking dragon for your benefit. Also, I'm sitting here just grabbing my ass a little bit, playing a game of grab ass. Sometimes you need to dance. Sometimes Havel needs to dance a little bit before he fights dragons. Because you know, this is like, what, 12 minutes into it, I was getting really bored of just sitting there holding R1 and letting go of it now and again. So yeah, since I got to sit through 18 minutes of this, you guys get to sit through 5.5 minutes of this. You're gonna watch the whole thing. Your sister buys you a chocolate croissant? Oh my god. That's like that's a great sister right there. You should marry her, Jacob. There, I turned myself into the Rock. And I broke my shield. I broke my shield dicking around. How much longer is this? Wow. Oh yeah, we still got 30 seconds. 30 seconds of hot gameplay action, of super speedy gameplay. So yeah, this is all you do. And you just sit here and do this until Kalameet eventually dies. It takes a while. It takes a long while of, hard work, determination, and launching arrows into his butt. But eventually he dies. Eventually he dies. And there you go. Well, what is it? Alright, so here we are, back in Dark Souls days. Let's go talk with Hawkeye Goff and see what he has to say about how amazing we are, and how awesome we are for killing a dragon without any help.
I see that thou hast dusted the great black dragon Kalameet.
Yeah, what's up?
Wondrously played. Lord Gwyn's blessing upon me. I see that there is at least one legend among ye humans. Dear me.
The legend.
That old bat will never fly again.
So it is intended for you to be able to kill Kalameet without Goff's help, because you have this extra dialogue.
Dragons.
And that's it. That's all he has to say about it. And he'll give you the great bow. Just the same as always. Talk about the abyss.
Farewell, proud human. May every honor be bestowed upon thee.
That's right, may every honor be bestowed upon me. I killed Kalameet. What's up? And that's it. He gives you one line of dialogue. That's what we did that for. Are you fucking satisfied? You better be super satisfied by that. You better have all become super sexually aroused. Okay, now I need to load in this save file for where we actually are. Let's go. Let's go. Alright. So then, when we last left off, meh. That's it, radioactive bath, you're dead. Killing you. Get wrecked. Fuck out of here. Meh, my ass. Banned for a whole 1 second. Alright, so, when last we left off on our amazing cosplay run, again, thank you, Furry Fox. As you recall, the lore of the area is that Artorias came and quelled the Abyss, so I donned the Artorias armor, the 3 Artorias swords, the Artorias shield, the Artorias ring, and the Artorias amulet, and decided, hey, let's keep true to the world. And we've been trucking along pretty well, but now it's time to actually fight the Abyss. The actual Abyss. This guy is supposed to lead you into enemies, but I kind of turned him into the wall. 2 Twinkling and a couple of green Titanite shards isn't bad, to be frank. That's pretty good. So let's lure this guy over here. R2! I ate a hit. And if I take my amazing bird watchers out and take a look over there, you will see that there are dancing lights in the distance. And, you know, those are the heads of the Ulasil Township people that got corrupted by the Abyss. So, you know, it's very easy to see them, and it's easy to get a tip-off. Hold on, I'm just looking at some stuff real quick, because I have some stuff I wrote down. Well, typed down. Some information. Hold on. Let me complete the illusion. I wrote some stuff down. There's my paper that I totally wrote stuff on. I hope you could hear it. Okay. So, let's see, the Sorcerer's gonna aggro now, along with these 2 guys. Oh, yep, there's the Sorcery. ASMR of paper shuffling. There we go, there's the other 2. Ow. This guy's really hurt, by the way. Everything in here really hurts. Did I... Oh. I was really hoping for the bloat head to drop. Don't laugh at me. Look how strong my pelvic thrusts are. You can't even pierce these pelvic thrusts. However, I did take a really hard hit there. Ow. Okay, so they were protecting this spell, which, you know, if you watched that speedrun I just did, is the best offensive spell in the game, Dark Bead. But let's take a look at it, a gander at it, from a bit of a lore perspective this time around. Abyss sorcery discovered by an Ulasil sorcerer on the brink of madness. Fires successive dark orbs. Basically, it fires like 8 of them at once, I believe. In contrast to standard soul sorceries, Abyss sorceries are weighty and inflict physical damage. Perhaps a human soul is closer to matter in its humanity. So, this comes back towards a concept I was talking about earlier in what each soul kind of represents. And the Dark Soul is very representative of physical matter, physicality. That's why all of the dark magics do physical damage rather than doing magic damage. It takes your physical defenses into account when you are hit with a dark attack. And that's because the Dark Soul itself is linked to the physicality of things that exist. The physicality of stuff that is alive. Let's see. Hi there. Have a good shield, sir. But, as all sorceries do, it does still do a little bit of split damage rather than straight-up damage. I'll talk a little bit more about the souls a little bit later, but first we have to take a peek over here. As you can see down there, there is a chasm filled with black people. They are scary. And what I said is very racist, so really, those are humanity phantoms, if you don't know what those are. And another thing is right down there. Well, look at that thing just kind of swirling with fog over there. I wonder what that could be. Let's go over here and maybe find out, shall we? It's an illusory floor. I don't believe this wall is illusory. Yep, it's just the floor. And you're kind of supposed to notice that swirling fog as a hint to come over here. Oh, shit. They're following me. So the humanity phantoms will follow you down here. I wasn't paying close enough attention to them. Or is racist confirmed? No, dog. Alright, let's swap weapons because I feel like it. And you can see more swirling stuff there. What that is that is Alvina. But it's not actually Alvina. It is a kind of a projected visage of Alvina. And she is leading us somewhere. She is leading us to a very specific area for a reason. Come over here, and yep, there she is. So, she leads us to this wall, which is an illusory wall. I'm just gonna kick my way in. Don't follow me. Don't you follow me. I don't need no urban violence over here. And behind that illusory wall... Ow. Is something very important. Oh, what a god. What a backup. Hold on, let's dual wield. Let's dual wield. Get over here. Face my dual wielding. So, look, it's Sif. It is actually Sif. And as you can see, he's kind of got this protective ring around him with some runes and stuff. Or her, him or her. And the humanity phantom cannot cross that barrier. At all. it can't get through it. That is because he is currently being protected by Artorias' shield, which I have in my hand right now. So Artorias left his shield here with Sif to protect him. Also, very important to note, Sif has his own sword. It is basically the same as Artorias' sword. Hold on, there we go. We'll pull out Artorias' sword. So Sif has his/her own actual sword, rather than taking Artorias' sword. It's a different sword. Are these phantoms made out of humanity you lose when you die? I don't know what they're made out of. I'll talk about them again a bit in a moment. Alvina leads you to Sif because she is an ally with Sif and an ally with Artorias. Alvina is actually protecting Artorias' grave, and by trying to convince people not to go over to it and grave rob it. So, Sif's sitting here very injured. I mean, you can see that Sif is clearly in pain. You know, with the droopy doggy ears, breathing heavily, eyes closed and everything. Still holding on to that sword, though. So, basically, little puppy dog Sif came down here trying to help Artorias out in the Abyss, and didn't do too well. Artorias left his shield with Sif, likely in order to keep the dog protected, and then tried to go in and fight Manus on his own. Artorias going in to fight Manus without his shield, without his amulet to protect him from... He didn't have his pendant to protect him from the Abyss. He didn't have his shield to protect him from the Abyss. He just went in there with a sword in his left hand, because Artorias is actually left-handed. And Manus absolutely wrecked him. He crippled his arm, shoved his massive abyss deep inside of Artorias' body, and corrupted him with it. Meanwhile, Sif just kind of got wrecked here. And part of the reason is that Artorias didn't have a shield, and he doesn't know how to fight without a shield properly, and he didn't have this silver pendant to help protect him from darkness. So once we kill this last humanity phantom, we will have successfully protected Sif from the urban violence. And he will see us and leave. And what's left behind is what wasn't visible, but the Cleansing Great Shield. The Cleansing Great Shield is Artorias' shield. You take a look at this shield, look at the pattern on it and everything. Now if we equip the it is the exact same shield, only the Cleansing Great Shield is super busted up. Almost destroyed, even. The steel great shield used by Knight Artorias, who succumbed to the Abyss. Artorias, deeply scarred by the Abyss, used this to form a barrier to protect his compatriot Sif. Although this drained the shield, its magic defense remains high. So, based on the fact that, hey, don't be racist. Based on the fact that this is so damaged before, it's possible Artorias had to fight with Manus before protecting Sif, or it's possible that just getting down here and fighting against the sorceresses and trying to protect Sif from that already damaged the shield greatly. And if you take a look at it, it has worse attack, worse physical damage reduction, worse magic or slightly better magic defense, but worse stability. It's overall a worse shield in a lot of different ways. Except for its magic defense. Its magic defense is solid. And that is a special thing that a lot of people miss. Where does the Wolf Knight set come from? The Wolf Knight set is... You mean in Dark Souls 3? That's just the Abyss Watchers set, right? Or, no, the Wolf Knight set is the actual Artorias set in Dark Souls 3. That's what they call it. It's literally just Artorias' set. I don't think there's anything over here. By the way, I kind of want to point something out. If we grab a lantern here. So, if we grab a lantern and shine it towards the abyss, towards the darkness, this isn't just the absence of light. It is the presence of dark, which is a very real and physical thing in Dark Souls. You get almost no illumination from this, because instead of this being just, oh, there's no light here, this is basically, to quote SpongeBob, because it fits, this is advanced darkness. Alright, let's dual wield. Let's be a huge nerd. Ow. That hurt. This is a big humanity phantom, goddamn. Get over here, nerd. Just smack you with my swords. Ha! He fell. Oh, that's funny. Now let's see. Over here, right next to that wall, is actually an elevator. And this elevator is going to take us to a very special place. It takes us up. Very, very up. Oh, I didn't think I had stepped off of that. Well then. Hey look, I took damage. Oh, don't drop. This goes very up. That's a long elevator. Now where's this take us? I wonder. I wonder. Back to the Royal Wood. Look at that. And there's Marvelous Chester right across the way. This is that elevator that wasn't active before. That's a hell of a shortcut, by the way, guys. That's a big shortcut. It's a big boy shortcut. Big shortcut for big boys. Hey, Chester, you got anything to say?
Oh, you. You have quite some nerve. Or are you just thick?
Pretty thick.
Fine, then. What is it that you need? Well, you've quite the nerve. I've had enough of you.
Hey, fine. Elevator's really bugged without default frame rate. It's because it's a fast-moving, very long elevator. Alright, let's go back. I've got more business to do with the Abyss. Oh, you just... thick. Thick as fuck. Ah, fuck, you're so thick. Let's see, is it up here that I was thinking of? Alright, so now it's time to get lost in the darkness for a moment or two. No, that's where I came from with Alvina. You'll notice there are these little prism stones that were left behind. Presumably, Artorias left these behind as markers for where he was traveling. At least that's what I'm going with, and that's what I'm sticking with as an explanation, is Artorias left these prism stones behind as markers for the edges, so that he would have a path back. Especially since they path straight to Sif. Come over here, and right up here should be... Yep, this is what I was thinking of. Oh, what'd you drop? Green Titanite shard. Ah, darn. Let's go ahead and grab... Oh, look, a humanity. Basically worthless. Yeah, Chester invaded me before and failed. That's why he's so mad at me. Big thrust. Get back here. I'm gonna chase you down. I'm gonna touch you. I'm gonna touch you with my weapon. So we're now down into that pit, into a pit with a bunch of humanity phantoms. And these guys are really dangerous because of the fact that all they have to do is touch you to hurt you. We'll talk about why they're trying to touch me in a little bit later. Oh, I wasn't close enough for the leaping attack. Leaping attack! Ow. The bigger humanity phantom is, the more damage it does if it touches you, by the way. For anyone that doesn't know. Anything over here? I'm trying to remember where everything is in the darkness, because there's a lot of stuff in the darkness. Because in the Four Kings Abyss, there's no solid ground whatsoever. It's this part of the Abyss there's solid ground to actually walk on. Actually, Saphirius, I think the reason is more because of the influence of the Four Kings on the Abyss of their on their territory of the Abyss. Because after you kill the Four Kings, you can then traverse that Abyss no problem without the Covenant of Artorias. And here's another dark pyromancy. Our only dark pyromancy, actually. Another dark spell, though. Anyway, this abyss is a little bit different because it's a little more fledgling, it's slightly less complete, but at the same time, I believe that the Four Kings influence is the whole reason why you can't traverse the abyss where they are, is because they have some sort of domain over the area. Either that, or they're possibly even being protected by Koth. It's quite possible that Koth was protecting them from any outsiders, and only those powerful enough that had, by his logic, a strong enough dark soul to traverse into the abyss and actually defeat them would be worthy of even seeing him at that point. Those are my two theories on it. It's one of those, in my opinion. Anyway, Black Flame, let's take a look at it. This is a pyromancy. It's actually the only dark pyromancy in the entire game. A pyromancy discovered from the dark of the abyss by a pyromancer who wandered into Ulasil. Conjures a great black flame in one's palm. Black flames are weighty and inflict physical damage, enough to smack away the mightiest of shields. So this is basically greater combustion, but better. It's a better greater combustion. Let's see, I should have greater combustion in here somewhere. Yeah, great combustion. It even has the same number of uses. Only instead of doing fire damage, it does physical damage. And the way it says is it was discovered by a pyromancer who wandered into Ulasil. So a pyromancer came into Ulasil and was being influenced by the abyss, and kind of the way that this works is any kind of magic is a manipulation of the soul in one way, shape, or form. A pyromancer's flame is a part of himself, as Laurentius puts it. It's actually kind of a manifestation of their soul in a way. Because everyone, this goes back into the creation of life itself in Dark Souls and the way it works. Everyone is composed of pieces of the four Lord Souls. Specifically the Dark Soul, the Light Soul, the Life Soul, and the Death Soul. Anything that is alive has something of these souls in it, except for maybe the Primordial Serpents and the Dragons. Those are the only differences. The Life Soul is the soul of fire, the soul that the witches of Izalith have the governing Lord Soul of. The Light Soul is the soul that governs over sorceries, and the soul that specifically Gwyn and the Lords have. The Death Soul is the soul of Nito, and it is the soul. It is it's a really weird one to explain. Essentially, the way that I think it works, I can't really give a definitive answer on this, but the way I think it works is that Nito is being kept in a state of limbo, of undeath by his soul, and he's putting, like, basically a fragment of it, or a small piece of that power into anything that dies in his domain in order to resurrect it. And finally, there is, of course, the Dark Soul. The Dark Soul is the soul of humans and linked to the physicality of man. The Light Soul is kind of the spirituality. It's kind of the actual soul, while the Dark Soul is more like the body that contains the soul, if that makes sense to you guys. All four of these souls exist in everything that crawled out of the... everything that was once a pygmy has all four of these souls in them, but to different extents. Yes, I do upload this to my YouTube channel. Pyromancy was actually discovered before sorceries, unless you want to count stuff that Seath did as sorceries in a way. But as for humans were able to do pyromancy long before they could do sorcery. So essentially, whatever Lord Soul you have the most of in you determined what kind of basic species you were. If you had the most of the Light Soul in you, you'd be a Lord, like Artorias and Ornstein and Gwyn and Gwyndolin. And what that meant is that you're usually physically a little bit larger. You are, you're physically stronger. You're much more powerful than most other beings. And, you are effectively immortal. You have an infinite lifespan, and the only way to die is for someone to actually kill you, because you have because of the strength that's in there that you have for yourself. The life soul, the witches of Izalith and what they had, that's kind of the soul that gives life, actual life, to the vessel that contains it. And the reason that it's linked with life, and that you know it's linked to life, is because the bed of chaos is bringing unliving things actually to life in the shape and form of the demons. Some of them are just things being warped and distorted by the soul overflowing within them, but other things, such as the dragon statues, are being actually brought to life by the bed of chaos. Nito Soul's the death soul. That is the soul that allows you to be killable, that makes it possible for you to actually die and have an end to your life. And finally, the dark soul, like I said before, physicality. It's your physical being. So, what I'm getting at is, with this is a mixture of the magic governing over the life soul and the magic governing over the dark soul is what created the black flame. Much like the sorceries, the dark sorceries, are a mixture of magic governing over the light soul, as in normal sorceries, and the dark soul kind of overflowing into that process. The same thing is happening with this pyromancy here, the black flame. It is normal pyromancy, kind of tainted and empowered by the dark soul, which is really cool in my opinion. No song requests, it's Lord Souls. Lord Gwendolyn has the Kappa Pride soul. Clearly. So that's basically how everything's going. The whole reason that souls look like fire when you take a look at them, like humanities are like the pure dark extraction of the dark soul in a way. And they look like a little black flame. The souls of stronger enemies, light enemies, look like pure white flames. The Firekeeper soul looks really wonky and weird, but normal souls kind of look like embers or flames. The reason for this is that all your souls come from originally the first flame. Souls are the first flame. They're just the first flame manifesting in different ways. And that's why when your soul leaves your body and leaves your vessel, it looks like a flame at the end of the day, because it is technically the first flame. If anyone says I'm wrong, I mean, you might be right. I'm pulling lore out my ass as best I can, but, you know, I'm pretty okay at it, I like to think. Alright, where the hell am I? I've been standing still and talking for so long, I don't know where I am anymore. Chat, help. Lost. I think I have to go back up. I just had to go grab that. And I'm not sure if Miyazaki was intending for the souls to work that way the whole time, or if it was just a really happy coincidence that he just happened to nail it that well. But he did a damn fine job of creating a life in this world and giving reason for why life moves the way it does. And there's actually reason for these humanity phantoms and why they chase us and everything like that, which we will get to later. But we have to do other things first. First off, they have to all die. Hold on, we can do this faster. Left. Right. Left hand. Right hand. Left hand. Gotta love dual wielding like an idiot. Love dual wielding like an idiot. There's the item. I'm gonna punch you with my left hand and then my right hand. Ah, yes, I love this carving. I love where you find this carving. It is a great carving. You find the help me carving on this poor, unfortunate soul falling his way into the abyss. Go ahead and take a peek at it. Dude, the carvings are great, by the way. Where is it? There it is. Help me carving. Head carved of arch trees by Goff in his imprisonment. Goff imparts an emotion to each and every completed carving, which helps him achieve personal enlightenment. When a head is disturbed, it speaks, reflecting the emotion conferred to it. This head says, help me. Look again. Can you hear the desperate plea? And I don't know, the design is kind of wispy in a way. I always thought it kind of looked like breath coming out of something, but that's just me. Aw, it broke too far away. It broke too far away. We need to hear him say it.
Help me.
Help me. And that's the pyromancy I just grabbed earlier. Alrighty. Kirito boys. Oh yeah. Welcome to... Artorias was secretly Kirito all along. Big Dick Kirito. Don't give up, skeleton. So you can see there's a bunch of prism stones here. And it looks like something was knocked over and fell down here. And I'm not sure if this was here before Artorias got here, or if it had to be knocked down. But this is the pathway down towards the chasm where Manus resides. Twin humanities. There's a lot of humanities here. Also, all of the humanity phantoms here drop humanity, by the way. In case you guys are wondering. Peekaboo. I see you. Hello. Oh my god. Oh my god, that hurts so much. Oh, I'm so dead. Holy shit. Wow. Damn. That did so much damage so fast. Wow. See, humanity phantoms are kind of strong. Oh, did I never sit at the other bonfire? Those little black ghosts are really powerful. We'll just have to walk down there again, no problem. Where's my humanity at? I have these. Here, I'm just gonna do this fast now, guys. Hey, now. Oh, come on. There we go. I'm holding the sword and shield the wrong way, I'm aware. The problem with doing it the right way is the fact that, you can't really left-hand weapons in this game properly. Good night, Furry Fox. Thanks for hanging out. Glad to have had you here. Hope you enjoyed the show. Hope you guys don't mind me cheating like crazy like this right in front of your faces. Am I doing that? This is just, it's item duplication. If you have a yes or no confirmation on the item, then on certain frames of animations, you can go to use it in your quick bar and then menu to use Estus instead, and it'll eat the Estus instead. Should have stayed at 69. True. You're true. You're right. As for what humanity does when it's liquid like this, liquid as in it's in my top left area, what it does is it increases your physical defenses, and it also increases your item find, and the damage of certain weapons is increased. That's what humanity does. That's what having humanity on your person does. It also lets you kindle and reverse hollowing and stuff like that. I hope you guys appreciate the fact that I have the slowest roll you can have while still being allowed to roll, so that for this cosplay for you. But Artorias, we have to make sure history is correct, and Artorias has to beat back the evil. Take this. Get away from me, you filthy creatures. Hey look, we got some humanity. These guys drop humanity like crazy, by the way. After all, they are all basically living humanity. So it makes sense. As for why this living humanity is here, it's possible that the inhabitants of Ulasil, or possibly people who have died over time, this might be their spirits given life by the abyss. They're hanging around. Never knew Firekeeper souls gave you 5 humanity. If anything, they should give you a lot more. Lore-wise, Firekeepers are overflowing with humanity, just filled with it. Wow, that poison hit. Firekeepers are filled with near infinite humanity lore-wise, so them only giving you 5 is kind of a jip. But oh well. Hey, since we have all this humanity anyway, let's pop a humanity heal. Also, humanity heals you to full health. No matter what health you're at, takes you to full. One hit and instantly poison? Yeah, they have super high poison build-up. See you moving in there, you little buddy. Trying to hit me like that. Ta-da! This is a white Titanite slab. One of the very, very, very few white Titanite slabs in the entire game. In fact, I think that's the first one we found. Yep, it is. White Titanite slab for weapon reinforcement. Legendary slabs were the domain of the gods. Reinforces divine weapons to +10 and occult weapons to +5. So if you're going down that upgrade path, this maxes it out for you. Legendary slabs are the heirlooms of a nameless black deity who formed weapons of other gods. Weapons forged by this become rare legendary weapons. So yeah, that is if you want to go down the occult or divine upgrade path. I've gone over the upgrade paths before for Dark Souls 1. It's a huge mess. I've pointed out how much of a huge mess it is. Ah, look at that backstep he did before he walked into me. What a god. Freaking humanity god. They're all over here protecting that item. And I believe this is nothing too important. Just a soul of a hero. Just a soul of a hero. So literally that's a guy, I'm going to go ahead and say that that guy came down here. and tried to do what Artorias tried to do and failed miserably. So, 69 viewers. Nice. Perfect. So if we look down there, you can actually see Manus's eyes as he's hanging out down there. Can't look proper down, can I? Oh. But you can see off in the distance, first off, there's a glowing thing down there. Specifically, that is a summon sign. The only summon sign in the entire game that is in a boss arena. And there's Manus just hanging out. Just chilling. You can actually see him over here as well. There he is. You can see him a little better there. His big glowy eyes in the distance. So, I just want to show off something that you can do. If you don't like fighting Manus, and oh boy, some people don't like fighting Manus. If you don't like fighting Manus, you can go ahead and equip yourself a Hawk Ring. Whoops. Wrong arrows. There we go. Oh, aiming too low. And you can't actually aim low enough this way, but you can pre-aim. Oh, still too low. Maybe if I walk a little closer. Oh wow, it's aiming too high actually. Maybe this weapon can't aim down low enough. Let's try Golf's Great Bow. Oh hey, I'm firing Golf's Great Arrows in the first place. Nope, looks like the great bows can't aim down quite as well. Not even from this angle, can it? I think this is closer. Oh well. Let's take something that'll probably aim a little better. Do I have sniper crossbow bolts? If I do... There we go. A little higher. There we go. There's a hit. So yeah, you can sit here and pluck them with arrows if you have true aim. Unlike me, I'm terrible. I haven't done that in forever. But you can sit there and smack them with arrows from long range. Of course, that did like no damage because it's unupgraded and everything. All right, where is Artorias' other sword? There we go. There's Artorias' other sword. We need all three of them. So yeah, if you don't want to fight Manus at all, you can do that instead. Now let's go ahead and we're gonna go into this boss fight and let's watch a cutscene. Artorias had 3 swords. 3 different versions of the same sword. You know, if Manus can just do that, you'd think that he would do that more often. Or just pull me to him originally, but, you know, gameplay mechanics. And that is Manus. Father of the Abyss, as he is called in English. So, Manus' name, Father of the Abyss, kind of makes it seem like Manus created the Abyss. It makes it seem like Manus is the source of the Abyss, but that's not necessarily true. Manus' Japanese name is Shinen no Nushi Manus. Shinen no Nushi Manus. And what that specifically means is the master, lord, the head, the chief of the abyss, the master of the abyss. But it can also be translated to father. So the English translation isn't necessarily wrong. It's just maybe wrong, a little different. So Manus may not be the one who originated the abyss, but instead is maybe just known as the master of the abyss. And you can see that if you take a good look at like his hand, his fingers on his big hand, his left hand that he's swinging at us, you'll notice that they're very kind of gnarled and almost kind of crooked. They're supposed to look kind of ancient, primeval, because he is known as the primeval man. And I think they do a pretty good job of that. You'll also notice that his attacks are extremely wild, very vicious, kind of, vicious, brutal, constant attacks. There's not really any technique to it. He's just kind of flailing around using his size and strength to fight you. Which is a good indicator that Manus himself while he was once human, and we'll see, I'll look at proof of that in a moment. While he was once human, he is definitely far from it now. And having a good shield kind of makes this fight a lot easier. Not having to dodge makes this a lot easier to talk about. Come on, nerd. See, you can see why Artorias might have had trouble when he didn't have his shield with him. Because with a shield, I can just stand here and take hits all day. Without a shield, this stuff hurts. And there you can see this is a summon sign for Sif. You can actually summon Sif in here. Which I'll do a little bit after we talk a little bit more about Manus. So, talking more about Manus's design. You can see that there is a mouth on his left hand. I think that's might be symbolic of the Dark Souls' ability and desire to devour and absorb everything else into itself. So he has this big mouth on his hand. Manus, you see he's got those red eyes, red glowy eyes on him as well, much like the Abyssal Corruption has done to the inhabitants of Ulasil. Those are actually eyes. They are extra eyes. I guess you could call them vestigial, maybe? I don't know if they have any use, because he has normal eyes that you can see on his head. Oh, whoops. Owie. Wombo combo. Any Falco. Anyway, he has normal eyes, but these red eyes are kind of extra growths from the corruption of the Abyss. In addition to that, you see those massive kind of horns growing out of the side of his back. If anything, that looks like maybe his spinal column has started growing wildly. The reason for all this physical mutation is that Manus is overflowing with the Dark Soul. And remember when I said the Dark Soul links to physicality. He also has a reach-around attack behind himself. The Dark Soul links to your physicality, your physical appearance. So when you start overflowing and your Dark Soul is out of control, your physical appearance starts changing wildly, kind of like this. And that's why Manus has this monstrous appearance, these horns and the growths in his back, the extra eyes and everything. Also, Manus has a tail, but the tail serves no function. It is 100% vestigial. You can't even cut it off for a weapon or anything. What up, Dick? I'm just gonna walk forward and hold L1 and you're not gonna do anything to me, are you? Nope. Nope. Dark Rain. Oh, wow, I can't run fast enough to outrun it. Huh. I didn't know I couldn't run fast enough to outrun that with this gear on. Would you agree that the Abyss is the extreme of the Dark Soul? It could explain why we have walking humanities, but they barely give any souls because they're just matter. The Abyss is something... I don't fully know what the Abyss is, to be honest. Or what the Abyss is supposed to be. The Abyss seems like... It's not the Dark Soul. It's not the Dark Soul. It is dark. It is dark itself. Which is a bit of a different thing. Because the Dark Soul has... Like, the Dark Soul has a physicality to it. It has a link to other things. Whereas the Abyss is just kind of pure, unfettered darkness. I'm honestly not entirely sure how I should explain it. I don't know what a good way would be. Oh, look at that dark bead. Come on down here, Biddy. Bitty bitch. Alright, later. They're humanity phantoms. Maybe the opposite of the first flame? That might be something like that. Ow, that did more damage than I thought it would. Let me see. I wonder where my souls are. Hey, there we go. Found them. I kind of want to go pick up all my humanity real quick. Thanks, buddy. You knocked me closer to it. Here, I wonder if this sword is better. $314, but that was like a counter hit, I think. Oh, look at that wombo combo. Oh, 314, that's pretty good. I believe that's like twice as much as Artorias' sword. Yup. The Abyss Greatsword is better. Hooray. You corrupted this sword yourself, Manus. You should be ready for the consequences. Ow. Ooh. Ow. Oof. Very oof indeed. I guess the first flame, since the first flame's creation and inception into the world also kind of created the dark of the Abyss and everything. As the opening cutscene says, created light and dark. Well, created disparity. Life and death, light and dark, etc., etc. So, the Abyss might be the first flame's answer to itself, in a way. If that makes sense, the reach around. I actually really like that reach around attack. It's pretty neat. Oh. That's a rough dark bead attack there. The shotgun. Ow, my face. So he's going to start casting dark magics now, a little bit more often since we've brought him to half health. Also, I love the rollback block that you get off of certain attacks. I've always liked that. He's going to break my guard. Oof. That does way more damage if he breaks my guard. Good Manus with the juke shoes. Manus with them juke shoes. So that's what the pendant is for, by the way, guys. For fighting Manus on super equal terms. By which I mean crushing his dark magic. Ow. Let's see, where is Sif's summon sign, by the way? Otherwise, dark magic hurts, as you can see. Even through a good shield. Sif, where you at, puppy dog? Where you at, doggo? I want to get you in here now, that we can talk about it. Oh, the shit fit. You'd think a light would be easy to see in the dark. Alright, I see it. I saw it. It's right here. And we just touch it. There's no confirmation. It's just a touch, and he gets summoned in. Hey, don't hurt that dog. Today we're being friendly to the dog. Alright, so Artorias and Sif fighting their way against Manus, as history foretold. So, Sif comes in and is really weak, actually. Like, you'll notice Sif is really not aggressive. He's just kind of sitting back there while I get pounded into, and does almost no damage. Almost no damage. Sif is weak as hell. Partially because puppy dog. And when you surround Manus like this, he doesn't really know who to attack. So it's useful to have Sif summoned in, even though he does nothing. Oh, nice! What a fucking combo! Sif! We did it! You finally got revenge for your master being murdered. Local dog goes awoo. And so, I want to just point out that exactly where Manus fell and was defeated is where Dusk of Ulasil shows up. And let's take a look at our sleeping princess. Well, she's not really sleeping. Her eyes are obviously super open. She's blinking because I guess they just never made the model of her with her eyes fully closed, or maybe it's just because she's hanging out. Let's do something inappropriate now, and let's see how far up her skirt we can go. Oh wow, they modeled her legs and everything perfectly. Look at that. Although the dress looks a little wrong, but still. Let's speak with our fallen princess. So yeah, she's like a little bit traumatized. She may not know exactly everything that is going on right now. She seems to have a little bit of PTSD. And that's all she's going to give us. That's all she's going to say while we're here, is she's just going to kind of going to gasp and breathe heavily. So, the reason I find it kind of important that she falls out of where Manus was is that indicates that either one of two things happened. Either one, Manus was just kind of carrying her, which I find hard to believe considering the fact that I looked at Manus in every possible way, and I didn't see no Dusk of Ulasil in his hands, or on his back, or in his butt, or whatever. Or two, Manus's soul latched onto Dusk as a vessel, and the Manus that we fought was actually Dusk of Ulasil. Is the first flame the symbol for the Dark Souls world's creation? No, the world existed before. It had the Greylands before the fire showed up at all. The world existed, it just existed in a far different form. So, it's quite possible that Dusk was kind of overcome by Manus' soul and overwhelmed by him, and he took form latching onto her. That's possible. That's one of the possibilities. The other possibility is they just didn't want to model her on his back or whatever, and then when he dies, out pops Dusk because, you know, whatever. Oh no, we're fighting the real Manus. But we're fighting Manus, who was corrupted by the abyss and the overflow of his own dark soul. Manus was once a perfectly normal human, evidenced by the fact that if we come over to this grave site and this coffin where they unearthed him, this is where Manus came from. This is Manus's grave right here. This is where they dug up his body, or where his body was. You can see it even has stones circling around it to indicate that this is a grave of someone who is very prominent in life. And it's a normal... It's maybe slightly larger than a human size, maybe a little bit larger, but not by much. It's basically a normal human life. So Manus was once a normal dude. Let's go ahead and take a peek at his soul. Soul of Manus, Father of the Abyss, or, like I said before, Master of the Abyss. Shinen no Nushi. Remember that. This extraordinary soul is a viscous, lukewarm lump of gentle humanity. The ancient Manus was clearly once human, but he became the Father of the Abyss after his humanity went wild, eternally seeking his precious broken pendant. So, it's a viscous, lukewarm lump of humanity. This is pure dark essence in a way. This is the dark soul. In its purest essence is essentially humanity. Essentially the soul of Manus. Because of that, you can even see encapsulated within the wildness of the soul going wild is a normal humanity flame. And then it kind of branches out and goes crazy. And Manus went wild because he was seeking his precious broken pendant, which if we take a look at again, the item that we picked up, half of a broken stone pendant. The vine appears to originate from Ulasil. Makes a lot of sense that Manus's pendant would be made of stone because he's an ancient man. Manus, by age rights, over 1,000 years old minimum, even at this point in time. He was birthed at the same time that Gwyn, Nito, the Witches of Izalith were all birthed. He was there. He existed during the fight against the ancient dragons. He was a human at that time. The fact that the vine that this pendant is made from originates from Ulasil kind of indicates that Manus, and in fact it's even further indicated by the fact that his grave is here, Manus settled the first settlement of humanity. The earliest humans settled in the area of Ulasil. Ulasil is the emergence of humanity. It's where humans originally lived. Which might be why there's such a tie to nature with the magics there, and why there's such a difference in Ulasil from the magics of elsewhere. Now, as for what it is, a powerful magic can be sensed from this ancient stone. Yet men of this time can neither manipulate nor sense its power, which has a distinct air consisting of both reverence and nostalgia. So, this tells us that, yes, there is a powerful magic sense of it. Most men of this time can't sense the power at all. The fact that our character can sense the power at all is already nothing short of amazing. But no men of this time can actually manipulate it. Maybe that's because the magics that were used in ancient times might have been the kind of magics that we've been seeing here. The magics that we've been seeing here, manipulation of the Dark Soul itself, maybe the Broken Pendant is kind of linked with that. Maybe the magic within it is a manipulation of the Dark Soul. And the reason that most people don't even know about that is because they have no control over it compared to anyone else. Manus is the furtive pygmy. It is so heavily hinted at that Manus is the furtive pygmy. He is. He 100% is. Primeval man, he is. Primeval man, he has an insanely powerful dark soul that is overflowing with dark. He is the furtive pygmy, the original first human. And I want to point something out. I don't know if I put a pendant into my inventory. I probably didn't. I didn't. Wait. That's just the silver pendant. The pendant is an item that you can start with in this game, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pop the wiki up real quick. Just to get the description of it real quick. Very simply, its appearance is that of any pendant, a kind of a golden pendant with a chain. A simple pendant with no effect. Even so, pleasant memories are crucial to survival on arduous journeys. It's literally just a pendant. Originally, when this game came out, people were asking. They asked the developers, and specifically Hidetaka Miyazaki. They asked him, "What starting gift would you do on your playthrough of Dark Souls?" And he said, well, I think that I would pick the pendant over all other items. And this sent a shockwave throughout the community. They're like, oh my god, the pendant must actually do something amazing. It apparently does do something. And they tried everything they could think of with it. And Miyazaki later confirmed that it was somewhat of a joke, but kind of not a joke at the same time. And the pendant does nothing. It does nothing. Literally, the pendant exists as a role-playing item. It is the exact same as if you played something like D&D, played a game of Dungeons & Dragons, and you gave your character a backstory. That's what the pendant is. It is essentially a little backstory item you can give your character. Perhaps that pendant is an heirloom of your parents who are now long dead. Perhaps that pendant is something given to you by a loved one, or it was something you intended to give to someone else and they died. Whatever it is, it's to your own liking. It's your own description. It's player input to the game. And it's something I really like that a lot of games don't do because, the gamers, they can't handle, how dare you put a troll item in. It's not a troll item. It's there for, and it does have a function. You can trade it to Snuggly the Crow for something, but it's there for role-playing. It's there to delve deeper into the game and immerse yourself in it. One of the things I really like about the Broken Pendant of Manus is the fact that it doesn't tell you what this Broken Pendant is from. You never find the other half of it. You don't know exactly what this was about. or anything like that. You don't know whether Manus maybe made this pendant, broke it in half, and gave it to his loved one. Maybe it was in an ancient form of a wedding ring to him. Maybe the reason he wanted to find it so badly is because of the fond memories he had for his loved one. Maybe it was indicative of it was indicative of his own lifetime, and he had so much nostalgia to it that he wanted to remember his own humanity. Whatever the reason is up to the player to decide, which is really cool. Personally, I think that's really cool. That's one of the strengths that Dark Souls has as a video game, is that there's a lot left up to the player, but they fill in enough blanks to give you a storyline, and then the rest of it is left up to the player to decide where things went, or how things turned out, or how things progressed. And that's kind of the part of the way of Eastern storytelling versus Western storytelling, which has been a theme throughout this whole lore playthrough. Where in Eastern storytelling, it doesn't matter the machinations of why things work. It doesn't matter how things work or anything like that. All that matters is the thematic importance of what is going on. And then you don't have to explain the rest of it. So, as always, when you're left in a place like this, there is a bonfire at the end of it. And this warp is the Abyss. Or, it might just be called the Chasm of the Abyss. It won't tell us until we warp. So, I think that's a really big, important thing that Dark Souls does better than any other Souls game, is that through the NPCs, through the descriptions of items, through the minor little mini things that are shown throughout the game, it tells a bigger, grander, broader story and breathes more life into the world than any monster possibly could. So then, let's see. I need to do something with Manus' soul, but I have to remember exactly what it is. I need to remember who to give it to. Yep, Snuggly is the one. Okay. So, Manus' soul can be made into two things. Oh, right, I'm just gonna have to do the thing. Alright, whatever. Oh, by the way, we have some stuff to talk about concerning Dusk a little bit later. We'll do that a little bit later. But we have to go talk to Snuggly the Crow real quick. By the way, let's take... just give me the Abyss Greatsword. We'll move a little bit faster now. Still slow as fuck, but we'll move a little bit faster. So we're gonna give Manus' soul to Snuggly the Crow, because it gives us a very important spell that has some neato lore to go with it. So let's go back to our old stomping grounds. These guys are gonna aggro on me. Alright, fine, I'll kill you. I'll kill all of you. Wow! You just broke right through my poise, didn't you? Freaking torch hollows. You,
give me
warm.
Give me soft.
So that's kind of an indication. Soft? Huh. A lukewarm lump of gentle humanity. Oh, warm and soft, huh? It's a very proper description. So, we're now gonna have to do this. On a Comfy the Crow.
You. Give me.
Shut up, I gave you warm and soft. And we are gifted with the Pursuer's spell. There's one other thing you can do with Manus's soul. But we'll talk about that after this. So, Pursuers. Oop. Sorcery of Manus, Father of the Abyss. Grant a fleeting will to the dark of humanity and volley the result. The will feels envy, or perhaps love, and despite the inevitably trite and tragic ending, the will sees no alternative and is driven madly towards its target. So, essentially what's going on here is you are breathing temporary life, temporary purpose into the pure dark soul of your own humanity, and launching the result out. The result of it then seeks out something that it feels envy or love towards, and is driven towards its target. So this is it literally creates those humanity phantoms. Those humanity phantoms are essentially the Pursuer's spell, but at a grander scale. And it's possible that Manus was the one manifesting them with his own spell casting. And the reason that the humanity phantoms were so drawn towards us and were trying to touch us all the time is because they were feeling something akin towards envy, something akin towards love towards us. Like they wanted to become a part of us. They either envied ourselves and wanted to be us, or they loved what the dark soul that they saw across from them had become and wanted to become part of it as well. This comes into the thing that when I said the dark soul was very physical and was the material being of the creation of the vessel, this goes along with the emotions that people feel. So Manus was driven very strongly by emotion, and because of such, his dark soul went crazy. Because of his incredible emotional drive, his dark soul went wild and became an uncontained fury in a way, and started spilling forth corruption towards the abyss and everything. And the abyss existed before Manus did, but what this did was it strengthened any semblance of the abyss. It tore open the difference between the normal world and the abyss and started flooding the normal world with the abyss because of Manus's strong emotions. Whether it was rage, envy, love, whatever it may be, any of the 7 deadly sins you can think of, Manus was feeling those to an extreme, and that's why his dark soul went crazy. Because the dark soul is also linked towards the feelings that we all feel inside ourselves. And this is a good link towards... it's a good parallel with the actual real world. Is that all of our envy, all of our love, everything that all of our feelings and stuff, that can only partially be explained scientifically, is kind of explained as the soul of a person, or, you know, when people say, oh, that person's just being human, when they're doing something, like, maybe out of character, maybe they're drunk with love and trying to get someone's attention, something like that. This is a good parallel to that. It's a very, very strong parallel to the real world. And this is why I think Dark Souls 1 might be the best DLC, might have the best DLC in the Souls series, because the DLC, I know it's called Artorias of the Abyss and everything like that, but the actual goal of that DLC was to explain more about the Dark Soul and to shed more light onto the dark soul and the darkness of man. And this DLC does a fantastic job of that, with all of the description of this, with the appearance of Manus, the visual appearance of the corruption of Ulasil and everything like that, and how Artorias got absolutely corrupted as well. Because of all of that, this DLC, Dark Souls 1 DLC, is 100% successful in what it set out to do. So, we came back to the Chasm of the Abyss. Let's take a quick peek around. Is our good friend Dusk of Ulasil still hanging out here? Well, if we take a quick romp around the arena, you'll notice that no, she is not here anymore. So, as you may recall, we were not able to talk with Dusk while she was captured by Manus. We couldn't use her summon sign. But now that she's free, let's go ahead and see if we can talk to them. See if we can go speak with her. More of an insult over an excuse? I don't know. People are driven by emotions sometimes. People have emotions. Sometimes when you get emotional, you do something you may regret later, or maybe it's something that you wanted to do the whole time, and your strong emotional feelings let you let go of your inhibitions. Whatever it may be, people sometimes show off emotions, you know? Sometimes you feel sad and you have to cry. Sometimes you're incredibly happy and you laugh. Or you're just feeling good for a day. Sometimes you're incredibly horny. There you go, guys. I referenced the lewd for you. Sometimes you're angry and you punch something. Anything like that. It's just how emotions are. They happen. No reason to be afraid of them. No reason to try and hide them or bury them deep inside. It's not a sign of weakness. It's not a sign of strength to overcome them either. It's just being a person. That's why when people show no emotional reaction to certain things, a lot of times people will call them, you know, like a robot, etc. Because, honestly, it's weird to not have emotional ties to things. Oh, hey, look at that. What do you drop? Blue Titanite chunk. That's actually a pretty rare drop of these guys. Ow. You tied. Feels deep, man. Yeah, we got real deep in this episode. Really deep. Oh, look. Dusk's summon sign is there now. It is no longer gone. Let's summon our good friend Dusk of Ulasil in. Because she may or may not have a couple new pieces of dialogue. Let's find out together.
I am Dusk of Ulasil. It is an honor to see thee again. I shall follow thy wishes.
It is an honor to see me again. So she has nothing new to buy. It's still just the same old, but let's talk.
My home of Ulasil was reduced to ashes long ago in my time. I have been alone ever since, but to be summoned thus, and to be of service to thee, it is most rewarding. Oh, forgive me. Such a long past time is none of thine concern.
So she says my home of Ulasil was reduced to ashes long ago. Reduced to ashes, that's a neat way to put corrupted by the abyss. It's a very different way to put it. But, so she says that it happened long ago. She understands that time travel exists. She understands she's traveled through time and forward into the future. Seeing as time is convoluted in Ulasil, but with the way she talks about it, it's almost like her current form experienced Ulasil long ago from what she was during Ulasil. She also says that she was alone ever since. So whether that means she kind of she tried to rebuild Ulasil or tried to clean it up, or whether that means she left and journeyed by herself and maybe never found a new home for herself, can't really be said. All that we know is that after that, all the other inhabitants of Ulasil, save for Hawkeye Goff and maybe Elizabeth, the mushroom, were corrupted to the point of no return, really.
This may strike thine ear as somewhat peculiar.
Hit me.
But long ago, in my homeland of Ulasil, I was beset by a creature from the abyss.
Yeah, I know.
I would have perished then, were it not for the great knight Artorius. In truth, I saw little of what transpired, for mine senses were already fled. But even still, there was something about Artorius, a certain balance of the humours that quite perfectly fits your semblance. Heavens, could it be that... Oh, dear me. That was Ulasil, many centuries ago. Please excuse my fanciful musings.
So, she says that she was saved by Knight Artorius. Now, whether that was explained to her by Elizabeth, because Elizabeth says that, hey, Artorius should be the one to put an end to this. Even if you do it, credit will be taken by him, as it only makes sense. Or whether she knew that Artorius was in the area because of the fact that he is a big name and Ulasil was beginning to get corrupted. Maybe she knew that Artorius was there. Hawkeye Goff had already made a bit of a home in Ulasil, so she may have been a little bit more used to the Knights of Gwyn showing up. On top of that, she says that while she wasn't fully conscious or aware of everything that was going on, because she was PTSD as fuck at the end of that, if you remember, she does remember that Artorius didn't seem quite like Lord Artorius. I mean, ignore the fact that I'm wearing this and just ignore my appearance. Kind of ruins the talk. But she kind of says that, if anything, it might have resembled us, the Chosen Undead, Big Dick G here. But she says that's just fanciful musings. She basically says that's impossible. And that's because the only way time travel works, as far as people know in the world of Lordran, is forward travel in time. You put your summon sign down in your time, and anyone from that time to the future can summon you in. Master Logan is from the past and was summoned to the future. Heroes of old are being summoned into the future. Absolutely everything in the original Dark Souls is all about people from the past, legends from the past, making their way to the present and going on their own journeys there. So, at this point in time, before the DLC, apparently traveling backwards in time wasn't a thing. Other than Dusk, who, I guess, when she got captured, she was captured after using a summon sign, and once released, her summon sign was broken and she was allowed back to her own time. Whereas going back in time seemed an impossibility to them, because that would fuck the timeline up like crazy. That would easily fuck the timeline up. And the only two people to successfully travel back in time for reals are ourselves, the Chosen Undead, this guy, and Marvelous Chester. And the only reason they came back in time was because Manus himself ripped a hole through time and yanked them into the past. Other than that, it seems backwards time travel is actually impossible in Lordran.
This may strike...
That's all she has to say.
Oh, dear me. That was Ulasil.
Many
Please
centuries
excuse.
ago.
If thou art in need, I wish may the flame...
And thus ends our talk with Dusk. That's her new dialogue that she gets. Why Chester, though? Chester, very likely, also had some magic item, some item of some magical importance or prominence, something that may or may not have been an ancient item. Possibly he had the second half of the pendant. That's a possibility. You know what? Let's go talk with Marvelous Chester real quick. Let's go see what he has to say about everything. It's quite possible he had the other half of the pendant, and that's why he was brought back. But truthfully, we never find the other half of that pendant. The reason why Chester was brought back is never actually fully revealed to us. But I believe we get some new dialogue with Hawkeye Goff and with Marvelous Chester now that we've done this. So it's possible he had the other half of the pendant, but he never drops it on death. It's possible that he had some other ancient item of provenance that, like ancient item, it could have been something as small as any old stone from Manus's time. Whatever it is, Chester had something that Manus was drawn to, and thus was pulled into the past.
Thou comest again, legend of
That's
humans.
right, legend.
It is always an honor to speak with thee. Now, do not miss...
Oh, really? You have nothing to say about me fighting Manus?
Now,
Okay, then.
farewell, proud human. May every honor be bestowed upon thee.
Oh, one other thing I want to point out with Hawkeye Goff. When you first speak to him and when you finish conversations with him before killing Kalameet and becoming, in his eyes, a legendary warrior because you fought a for reals dragon and won. Before that, Hawkeye Goff will always tell you, live thy life as thou seest fit. He doesn't say, may the flames guide thee. He doesn't say, Lord Gwyn's blessing upon thee or anything like that. He says, live thy life as thou see fit. Because if you recall, Hawkeye Goff does have a point of conversation where he says, eventually, the abyss will, the dark will consume everything. The flames will end, and the dark, all that will be left is dark. He is not preaching the word of Gwyn like everyone else is. And part of the reason why Goff might have had that pine resin packed into his helmet by the goers of Ulasil is because they saw him as a heretic. That might be why he's locked himself away up here. They saw him as a heretic because he's preaching words that they don't want to hear. They want to hear that the flames will last forever, that Lord Gwyn is their god and everything like that. And Hawkeye Goff is like, in his old age, in his twilight, he's looking at a very realistic form of the world, and he's like, it's only a matter of time until the abyss swallows everything. Someday, everything will end. And they probably didn't like that, and that's probably why he has that resin in his eyes. Just wanted to point that out, because he is the only person... He's one of the very, very, very few characters in the entire game that doesn't say something along the lines of, may the flames guide thee, or may Gwyn's blessings be bestowed upon, etc., etc. He's one of the very few people that doesn't actually follow the teachings of Gwyn because of his age and everything like that. At this point in time, he knows he's past his glory years. Like, that guy was hunting enemies like Black Dragon, Kalameet, all day, every day in his prime. That's what he lived for. He lived for hunting down actual dragons. And all that's left now, there's like 3 dragons left, 3 or 4 dragons left in the world. And, you know, the Valley of Drakes. And, you know, the Valley of Drakes, for him, would be like punching children. It would be like murdering infants. It would be that much easier. So for him, there's nothing left. There's nothing left for him other than his woodworking and to wait until the end.
Oh, you.
Me?
You have quite some nerve.
I have all the
Are you
nerve.
just thick?
Very
Fine,
thick.
then. What is it that you need?
So thick. So again, he sells PvP items, specifically. He also sells humanities if you got cash. If you ever strap for humanities, you can buy them from him. You can also farm the humanity phantoms like crazy. They drop a lot. One thing he does sell is these sniper bolts, so I'll just buy a bunch of them. Why not? Not a lot of people sell those, so I'll just buy them now.
Well,
Just look at his dick.
Quite the nerve. I've had enough of you. I'll be seeing you.
Well, sir,
if you survive your
I've had enough
travels.
of you as well.
What now? You think this is all my fault? How very, very petty of you. Very petty indeed.
He's so proud of himself. Look at him go. He hit me once and he's so proud. He's so prude. Oh no. See, that kick is really OP. It staggers you no matter what your poise is. And it gives him poise as well. You know what? I'm gonna let him kill me real quick.
You damn fool. I am Marvelous Chester. What did you expect?
He actually has a sniper crossbow. He uses a sniper crossbow and he throws roses at you. We saw all of his moves when I fought his invasion phantom. I just wanted to get his the little dialogue that he gives if he kills you. I am Marvelous Chester. What did you expect? He's so proud of himself. He's so happy. He's like, haha, I killed you. Aren't I a special little guy? Anyway, we're gonna go kill our special little guy now. Because I've had enough of him. Oh, crossbow. Ooh, ooh. Oh, that's actually a lot of damage. Surprisingly large amount of damage. Look at that. He has that special stance where he can fire a lot of crossbows really fast. A lot of crossbow bolts really fast. Hey, asshole. Ow. He does a lot of damage. Like, Chester is no joke. He's no pushover. He's a very strong individual. So happy. Look at him dance around. I really wish I could do that kick. That kick is awesome. Throw some roses. There we go. There's some roses. Those are actually roses, by the way. He just taunt me? Yeah, he just taunted. He taunted with his little hat. If we trade one more time, you die, Chester. You know that, right? You know that, right? Yeah, back away. Back away, buddy. Back away. Alright, let's have fun. Okay, maybe not that much fun. Oh, look at him jump away. So proud of himself. He's so happy. Gonna punch you. I'm gonna beat you to death, Chester. I'm gonna punch you to death. He's very flighty in his movements. Are you dead yet? Wow, he's still got more health than I thought he did. There we go, we punched him to death.
You win, please. Oh, please. Have mercy.
There's no mercy to be had here. You're dead. So, we get the snickering top hat, Chester's equipment. And that's it. He seems like he doesn't fit in the whole world. That's because Chester doesn't fit in the whole world. See, all of his armor should be put together once I see it. Actually, it's not going to be this far down. It's a lot lighter than that. There it is. Black top hat worn by Marvelous Chester, a man of mystery lost in the past. The wearer of this top hat cracks a dubious permanent grin. The curse of Chester. Black leather long coat hat. Worn by Marvelous Chester, a man of mystery lost in the... This exquisitely sewn aristocratic suit allows its wearer to move in silence, lending well to stealth. These gloves have no distinguishing feature, but are of extremely high quality. And finally, these exquisitely sewn trousers are decorated with silver trinkets of varying sizes and have straps on the inner legs for carrying crossbow bolts. So it's quite possible that Chester was a man of wealth in his time. A man that had found himself a fortune in some way, shape, or form. Considering that all of his equipment is of high make. Or, another explanation is that he comes from so far into the future that the level of quality has just gone up for most people, and he is just a decently trained soldier. Or assassin. Anyway, yes, he came from Bloodborne. His outfit is very Bloodborne. The reason that his outfit looks very Bloodborne is because the second this DLC was done, even during this DLC's development, Miyazaki started plans for working on Bloodborne. It was like, oh hey, is that Dark Souls 1 DLC out the door? Alright, Bloodborne, let's go. So, he seems to be some sort of, there you go, an aristocrat, some sort of relatively wealthy person in his time. But we killed him. And, he does leave behind his his rucksack, his bag of stuff. You see, he had a candle. He had some sort of discarded book over here, a satchel with stuff in it. A couple of bags, presumably holding stuff, a knife. Kind of wish we knew what his book was. Wish we could read it, or at least get the title of it or something. The Lusty Argonian Maid, probably. And while he does have a bag of stuff here, we can't really get into it or take anything from it, which is really unfortunate as well. Which, as you can see, has another book in there and some other stuff. And with that, we are essentially done with the DLC. I think Elizabeth might have some dialogue, and that might be it. Yeah, I'm positive Elizabeth has dialogue since we saved Dusk. Let's go talk with her. Yeah, we have saved the world from the spread of the abyss. Ulyssil is no longer being swallowed by the abyss. Let me see. Sanctuary Guardian. That's it. Oi! 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 Stop your fighting, you nerds. And you'll notice, hey look, there's two of these guys now. For some... These guys will respawn indefinitely in case you missed the tail. Which, by the way, it's a lot harder to get the tail off of these guys when there's two of them. A lot harder. Also, they're really mad that I just ran by them and didn't fight. They're so mad. Alright, Elizabeth, what do you have to say about my greatness?
I have awaited thee. Thou hast rescued Princess Dusk.
What?
And rid us of that terrible primeval human, even halting the spread of the abyss. I salute the grandeur of thine enterprise. Please allow me to express my gratitude. I thank thee, as do we all.
And her thank you is to give me mushrooms. Delicious mushrooms.
I will remember thee, but I will keep thy story to myself. This is the best way, for thou art come from a time far ahead. No one will sing thy praises, but yet thy greatness shall live on, for it shall be my purpose to remember all thou hast done for us.
A lot of good that does when I can never see you again in real time.
Not long ago, I had another visitor, a human like thyself, from a faraway time. Only he was dreadfully odious.
Oh yeah,
And
him. I took care of him too.
That he is still amongst us. He wore a hat and a long black coat. Was thine eye glancing hither? Thou needst
no,
not hide
Baka.
thy wonder. I am a mushroom, after all.
So you're not going to comment on me looking like
May
Artorias?
the flames guide thee.
Hold on. Let me help jog your memory about what that guy looked like. Did he look a little bit like this?
Struggling, are we? If there's anything I can do, never hesitate to ask. Was thine eye glancing hither? Thou needst not hide.
So yeah, unfortunately there's no dialogue about looking like Chester and talking to her, or looking like Artorias and talking to her. It'd be real nice if there was, but there's not. Oh, by the way, Chester's armor is garbage. It's there specifically for fashion. It's really terrible, terrible armor. Well, with that, Artorias' gauntlets and Silver Knight leggings. Because Artorias' leggings look like crap, but the Silver Knight leggings work really well with this. With that, we're actually done with the DLC, completely. There is nothing more that we can do involving the DLC. We've talked with all the people. We've killed all the bosses. We've picked up all the items. We've read all the lore. Oh, wait. I guess there's one more thing. The Manus Catalyst, which I didn't make because I would have had to use the Soul of Manus, and it's not quite as important as this. But the game description for that is a sorcery catalyst born from the Soul of Manus, father of the Abyss. A rough old wooden catalyst large enough to be used as a strike weapon. Similar to the tin crystallization catalyst, it boosts the strength of sorceries but limits the number of castings. Unfortunately, we don't have the tin crystallization catalyst. We haven't found it yet, so that's a spoiler. And specifically, it's called, in Japanese, it's Manus no Tsue, as in the Staff of Manus. So it may not have been a magic catalyst in his lifetime, and it might have been imbued with magic when he became a primeval man, but either way, it is magic now. It's hard to tell whether Manus was able to do sorceries in his time. If anything, his sorceries would have been different, super different from sorceries as we know them today. It would have been different from pyromancy, different from sorceries, but it would have been a magic all of his own. With that, we're done with the DLC. The DLC is conquered completely with this big roaring flame that we left behind. So I guess all that's left to do is one final loose end to tie up involving the DLC. One teeny tiny loose end to go. Why you guys gotta fight each other so much? Come on now. Chat's going crazy. They don't even care about the lore. They don't even care about what I'm saying or what's going on here on stream. They just looking to fight each other. That's all they're looking to do. All chat wants to do is fight. So you remember a couple of things that happened kind of as a little bit of a side point in the DLC, but what we saw today, I made sure to encapsulate all of this in the same stream session. It'll all be in one episode of YouTube. It's gonna be like a 3-hour episode of YouTube, guys. Strap yourselves in.
What does thou say? Aye.
Abandon the Dark Wraiths real quick. And let's see, I don't know if she has any different dialogue, but let's find out.
My hopes for thee.
Nope, she got nothing to say. You got nothing to say. Alright, Alvina. See ya. I spy with my little eye some mushroom babies that could really use a sword in the butt. Oh, look at this one. He's lost and alone. He'll never find his friends. He'll never find his friends. He doesn't even know where they are. Aww. Aww. So now then, what sword did I have here? Which Artorias sword did I have here? Not the Great Sword of Artorias. It's lower. Not that low though, it can't be. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Oh yeah, it is this Great Sword of Artorias, the Black Great Sword. And in here I had the normal Great Sword, the normal Artorias sword. There we go. So yes, for anyone wondering, there is the Abyss Great Sword, the Great Sword of Artorias, and the Great Sword of Artorias. They are different. Now then, we have someone to talk to. Coming back here to a long-forgotten part of the Ulasil Forest. A lot of people don't come here. Large sword and a big tombstone. Hey, that sword looks familiar. That looks like the sword I have. So now. Rather than attacking us, Sif instead becomes very somber. That is a special cutscene you get for saving Sif before fighting. Which is a really neat thing that the DLC did. Because the DLC didn't have to do any of that at all. Sif recognizes your scent centuries later, recognizes you as the person that saved her life, restored the honor of her master Artorias, and beat back the abyss in Ulasil. And knows that if you've come here, it's for a purpose. It's for a purpose that requires the Covenant of Artorias, more than likely. And Sif cannot let that go and cannot let you defile the grave, as she was charged with the task of guarding the area. So she becomes very somber about the fact that this is a fight to the death. Also, I want to point out that in the Japanese, Sif's name is the Great Direwolf Sif, rather than the Great Grey Wolf Sif. A dead angled by a dog. It's only fitting that Sif's master should end her existence. Ow. That big spinny sweep is pretty strong. I can spin too. And of course, when you injure Sif down to near death, Sif becomes very winded in the battle, is barely able to fight, but still goes on because Sif is charged with the duty of protecting Artorias' grave, and would rather die than not live up to that duty. Well, I guess it's about time to end your suffering. How weak Sif is. Sif can't jump around anymore, can barely even swing the blade, but still keeps going. Sorry, Sif, it's gotta be this way. I'll make it as quick as I possibly can. Which is not gonna be very fast at all, to be honest. Goodbye, Sif. And that's a super neat thing that they did, that they didn't have to do. Unfortunately, you can't read the epitaph on the gravestone or anything like that. Thor has no heart confirmed. I have no heart. I really do have no heart. I'm sure you're wondering about this. It's the Hornet Ring, and as you can see, it is a female pygmy corpse, which kind of says that that is Yaren's corpse. Now, how it made its way all the way here, who knows? One of the special rings granted to the 4 Knights of Gwyn. The Hornet Ring belonged to the Lord's Blade Kieran. By boosting critical attacks, its wearer can annihilate foes, as Kieran's dagger laid waste to Lord Gwyn's enemies. So this increases the damage of your riposts and backstabs. And now I have all 4 of them. It's kind of weird that her corpse would get here as well, but I guess I did kill her right on top of Artorias' grave, so, semantics. We also got the Soul of Sif. Let's take a look. Soul of Sif, the Great Grey Wolf, who guards the grave of Artorias the Abysswalker. And that's it. Special beings have special souls, blah, 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 blah. Inherited the Divine Knight Sword. Require huge amount of souls. Yeah. So, yeah. That's all it is that Sif was charged with guarding this grave. Now, normally when you get in here, Sif jumps around and is all ready for battle, but since we saved Sif's life back hundreds of years in the past and Sif recognized us, Sif was very sad that we had to fight to the death. Poor dog. And that is the last loose end I can think of to tie up. Bathe me in the waters of purity. So yeah. With that, we can safely put a close on the lid of all of the DLC content. And I had to jump through one or two hoops in order to, I had to jump through a few hoops in order to fight Sif after doing the DLC, by the way. What did the Blind Giant say? Nothing. Hawkeye Golf had nothing to say about any of that. Oh, a mushroom baby. Kill. It went flying. Oh, that was great. Thanks, mushroom baby, for bringing so much joy to our faces. Or my face, at least. So, guys, how did you enjoy the DLC lore playthrough? You guys like all that fat, thick lore that I just gave you, dripping with information?
Ah, my...
Yeah, you got nothing to say. Nothing. Fat, juicy lore. Just dripping, oozing with information. With that, guys, I believe we're pretty much done with that. Wonder if you play Dark Souls on the computer? Yep. What are the commands to parry? I actually use a controller, Rod Game. I use a controller despite playing on the computer because I think this game plays better with a controller than it does with mouse and keyboard. Oh, you gotta put a Nep Smug at that. Nep Smug isn't the right emote for that. It's supposed to be like PogChamp.
I didn't.
You have anything new? Nope, he has nothing new yet.
I'm afraid I don't see anything here.
Of course you don't see nothing, because you're blind. Blind to the ways of the world. Well, with that, I don't believe that we have to ever come back to the DLC again if I don't want to. I hope everyone enjoyed that amazing DLC. That smug is the only emote. Okay, fair enough. Hope everyone enjoyed the amazing DLC. With that, we've done everything in our power. I did everything in my power to show you all of the information the DLC has to offer. Because there was a lot. I hope you guys had a good time with it. And we're done today. We're done today, guys. Bye. Get out of here. I mean, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Get the fuck out. Go away. I mean, later, guys. Alright, you can give me a hug first. You can give me a hug. Fine, don't hug me. I'm just gonna... There we go, we'll give you a proper bow. Thanks for watching, chat. Have a good day.